So, how did this Desti bride plan her destination wedding in Playa del Carmen, Mexico in the middle of a pandemic? That is what we're talking about today. Let me get my serious voice on. That is what we're talking about today. Today. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. Oh, 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 no, no. Oh, 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 no, no. Hey, Desties and bride friends. I hope you are having an amazing time planning those Desti weddings of yours. This is the week of the Desti bride. I know you guys love the Desti bride, and it's funny, I just did that. That wasn't even on purpose, but maybe it was. Anyway, this is the week of the Desti bride, and that means I have an amazing interview with you from, of course, a Desti bride. Who is the interview? This is Desti bride Tashima. And Tashima was, okay, I say you guys are absolutely amazing, but the craziest thing is that Tashima is our very first COVID Desti bride. She got married in the middle of COVID, like the heat of it. And she shared so much, and I know you guys are just really gonna get so much out of this interview. Tashima and her husband Mark were married at the Azul Fives Beach Resort in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. They had a gorgeous wedding of about 45 guests, and their budget was about $11,000, and that's US dollars. I've had a couple questions, which is so cool, which means that I have international Desti brides and bride friends, which is amazing, but all dollar amounts that are discussed are in US dollars. So like I said, she was our first COVID Desti bride, and she got married late 2020 and had quite a journey, so she was more than excited to share, and we really dug in. Y'all know I had the questions because y'all have been asking me all the questions, so we dug in and she shared. There wasn't anything I couldn't ask her, so you guys know I asked my questions. And in addition to being our first COVID bride, she was also another first, and I'm gonna not spoiler alert, but Tashima was able to provide perspectives, some things that really I hadn't even thought about. And I'm being super vague for a reason because I want y'all to watch it and I want the surprise. And I don't want that to be lost. So in the next live Q&A, I'm going to be asking you guys if I could test and see who was watching, because I am going to ask you what the other perspective she was able to offer was. It's super obvious if you watch the whole interview. And who knows, there may be a giveaway. There may be a giveaway involved in it. So stay tuned with that in the Desti Lovers community. Now we have to take a minute to thank our sponsor, and this week's episode is sponsored by Time for Travel. Time for Travel is a team of free destination wedding and honeymoon specialists owned by Sarah Klein. An amazing choice for any Caribbean, Mexico, South Pacific, or Hawaii destination wedding or honeymoon. And with over 20 years of experience helping couples fulfill their dreams, Sarah and her team will make your Desti wedding and honeymoon exactly what you dreamed of. Sarah's also been on multiple episodes of the Desti Guide to Destination Weddings, so if you haven't met her, I will drop the link to her other videos down below. But if you are looking for a destination wedding travel agent, one of my most favoritist in the whole world, I'm sticking with it. One of my most favoritist quotes from Sarah is, "There is no reason to not hire a destination wedding travel agent." Like, it's so simple, but it's so true. So if you are looking for a destination wedding travel agent, make sure that you give Time for Travel a call. There's a free consultation. You can find them at timefortravel.com, and you also can visit their Desti partner page on Destiland at desti.land/timefortravel. And make sure that you let them know that your best bride friend Omi sent you, and they'll take extra good care of you. So yes, all details that we discuss are going to be waiting for you in Destiland, so you can always find that. It's considered the show notes, so on www.desti.land you can go and see the show notes. I have Tashima's photos, I've got some extra video excerpts that aren't here, and I also have all of the details. So if there's any links and things that you're wondering, like, hey, where'd I get that from, or what did she say again, head on to Destiland and you will find out. And if you ever have any questions throughout this interview, make sure that you drop those in the comments because I will be watching. I'm sure Tashima will be watching. And I'm actually working on getting her into the Desti Lovers community for the Desti Hour or maybe even a Bride Friend Brunch. We're going to figure out what scheduling works for her, but to get the follow-up questions. She shares so much, but as every interview goes, there's always more questions that you guys may have. So that's why I have the Desti Brides come into the community and continue to share. So if you are excited, make sure that you give me that thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because these interviews are fire and you will only know about them when you hit that subscribe button, and even more when you ding that bell. So you got the subscribe button and then there's a little bell right there, and that tells you that every single video that drops from Desti TV, you will be notified. And while you're in that comment section asking your questions, make sure that if you are brand new, you give me that hashtag I'm a Desti and let me know when you're getting married and where you're getting married. It's best for me to know who you are and when so that I can provide you more quality and more content to help you plan your destination wedding. And I love when someone drops a comment saying where they're getting married and I already got a Desti Bride interview waiting on them and I can just link you onto that. So make sure that you introduce yourself. And Tashima, thank you so very much for sharing all that you shared. I know that the bride friends are going to get so much value and just comfort out of this interview with you. I wish you and Mark the absolute best. You guys have had a crazy journey so far, and I'm just wishing you guys smooth sailing from here on. You get it? Like, I don't even know, sailing doesn't necessarily even apply to this, maybe smooth flying. Anyway, without further ado, here is my Desti Bride interview with Tashima, and I will see you guys next time. I would say next week, but this is actually the end of season 3. So I'll see you guys soon. I'll definitely see you guys in the community. If you ever have any questions, of course, I'm going to say drop them down, and I'm just making this entirely too long. So what I'm trying to say is thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate all of the support, and I appreciate you letting me help you plan those destination weddings. So I will see you soon, and until then, I'm wishing you all the best week of your life and reminding you to have the time of your life, planning the best days of your life. Bye, guys. Hi, Tashima.
Hi, Ami. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm here, just working.
Well, you have a great break. We get to talk about your
Yes.
wedding. So welcome
Yes.
to the show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. It's been a long time coming. We've been going back and forth. So I'm so happy to actually have you on.
Yes.
Yes. So for anybody, all the newbies, anybody just now coming in, can you introduce yourself for us? Where'd you get your name, where, when, all of that good stuff?
So my name is Tashima Haley now. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a speech pathologist, and I got married in Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Woohoo! Which resort?
The Fives Beach Resort, Beach Hotel and Residence.
Great. And how many guests?
My count was 50, and at the end it ended up being like 45.
Okay. Cool.
Which was not bad, in that we were in COVID. So
yes, you are my first COVID bride, so we're going to definitely...
Wow. Yes, that caused stress towards the later part of the planning.
Okay. Yeah. So, you had a bit of how long was your engagement?
So we were engaged for 22 months.
Right. So COVID hit literally.
So
right
COVID hit the
end
spring. So March, and I was getting married that October. So right when I was at home, it hit. So it kind of caused, the first issue started with the dress. And then I kind of had a slight panic attack because it was due to come back, I believe, June. But it didn't come back until I think beginning September. So,
Serious? Okay, wait a minute.
yeah. So luckily, I did not need a lot of alterations at all. Um, I was very, very like, okay, I only need this and a bustle, basically. That's what we're doing.
Right.
I will lose weight. We're not doing anything else right now.
Yes, just get me in this. I'm happy to have
Hmm.
it, and it will be what it's going to be.
And
Oh
what's
my
interesting is
goodness.
that I kept calling and they kept giving me one date and then they closed and then they were like, okay, well, I had to talk to a manager to get different information. She's like, no, you're on the list. We're gonna make sure you're dressed, call a vendor and make sure your dress is by here by September. So it was there on time when they said it was gonna be there. So
Good. Yeah. Did you end up, were you able, because I've heard about brides who've had to like pick their dress up in the parking lot, kind of like you can't go
no,
in.
so what you had to do is schedule an appointment and for your alterations, and then you were able to bring one person, and then you were kind of, and I went for actually two, um, and then you were able to kind of go in there and get fitted and everything. So they just kind of did by appointments.
Good. Well, oh, I'm
Mhm.
glad you were able to do that. And you had alterations with the same people, so that works out nicely. So,
Yes, I
okay.
did not take it anywhere else. Yes,
You're like, no
I was.
more risking
I had no.
anything.
Uh, no, that was it.
Ooh, yeah.
But it did
Okay.
cause a little bit of an issue with the girls. So I did have a scheduled appointment for them to go try on dresses, but due to COVID, they shut down David's Bridal, and so I was like, well, girls, we're just going to pick dresses and just order a size up and then get it altered to your liking. So,
Okay. And how many bridesmaids? What did you guys do as far as that? How many bridesmaids?
so I had three bridesmaids and of course three groomsmen, and I gave them options. I gave the two girls options, and my sister, who was the major maid of honor, I gave her an option too. So they did well. They made their choices, ordered it right away, and when it came in, they just kind of made the changes as they needed.
Okay. And a little bit of, so let's rewind because we definitely jumped in and I want to make sure that I know this. How did you guys decide on destination?
So at first, I kind of, in my head, of course, I knew I wanted destination. I just had to kind of bring it to him. He was like, "Why destination?" at first, and I kind of broke it down like, "Hey, I'm in it. We're in Atlanta. I'm in a sorority. I have lots of friends." And I started breaking down the numbers and the cost and the differences between being in Atlanta versus destination. And then I also be like, we're both from the Caribbean, so both of our families are from the Caribbean, so why not do the Caribbean? So that's how we kind of
Right.
got him into doing destination.
So you got to shout out your sorority.
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Um, and so where's your family? You said, where's your family
So
from?
my family's from Jamaica and his family's from Guyana.
Okay. And why not Jamaica? Why Mexico?
Well, Jamaica was the number one option at first, but then I'm like, I always go to Jamaica. It's like home. Kind of
Mm,
like, you know what I mean? It wasn't going to be different for me. And so when I got options for Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Mexico.
okay.
And then after listening to the podcast from all the brides, I was like, let me look into what Erica's talking about. And I kind of did a little bit more research, and I went back to
Right.
Sarah. I was like, hey, can you send me this location? And then I kind of delving more into it, and then I was like, I want to go with this one.
That's right, because you found Sarah. Did you find Sarah through the show or?
Yeah, I did actually. It's so funny because I didn't even know how I found you. I'm like a geek. I didn't know where to start with planning. I was like, okay, I'm very detailed. I love planning, but I didn't know where to start. So I ended up on YouTube, and I think I put in like destination black weddings, something like that. And I came across your podcast, and I was like, huh. I swear I was driving to work. I was at home. It was like in my brain. I was going to sleep. And so
Oh.
I think I was like, I just wanted to get as much information as I could before. And I used to take notes. And when you said something
Oh.
about travel. And Sarah, how amazing. I was like, travel agent, here she goes. And then I looked her up. Yeah.
Good. No, I love that. I love that for so many reasons, and I love hearing that because now you're on the show to pay it forward. So it's like, yay,
Yeah.
this is what I want. Like I help you guys, and well, I get people on to help you, and then the Desti Brides are helping more Bestie Brides, and we're just gonna keep it going. So I love that you were able to do it, and now we're gonna dig all in, and for you to be able to do the same. So.
Yes.
I love it. So yeah, and did Erica get married at Azul Fives? It was
She
Azul Fives
did.
back
She
then,
did.
right?
So that was her location actually.
Yeah.
And when she started talking about her location for the wedding, I was writing things down, and then I started just researching all of the things that she had kind of looked, and then kind of seeing if that was going to work for me or not.
Okay. Yeah, I love that.
Hmm.
That's so sweet. Yeah, I love what you did with it too. I can't wait to share the photos because I love what you did with the space.
Hmm.
And I hear that you're a planner. Like you usually do it big with your events. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love, like, my birthdays are over the top. Like, it's like my 30th was like, are you getting married? My baby shower was like, okay. Yeah, so I love that aspect of it, but I just needed a starting point because this was new to me. So I felt like, even though I'm a planner, I was like, I don't know what to do with this part of planning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
a destination wedding, a wedding really is a whole other ballpark, but especially destination, you need the
Hmm.
professionals. So, did you hire your travel agent first? Like, what did you decide? You guys decided on Mexico, and then you started to search. Did you immediately get a travel agent then, or?
So when I decided on Mexico, I immediately contacted Sarah and set up a time
Mhm.
to talk with her.
Okay.
And that's when she kind of sent me the options, and then we finally narrowed it down to. I think when she was narrowing down the options, I kind of like, okay, just send me Mexico. I think at that point I had just listened to Erica, or maybe listened to her after, and then I
Hmm.
said, what about the fives? And then she sent me a couple of fives. So I think there's two there.
Okay.
And so Riviera Maya, I think there's two. So she sent me some, and then I kind of just made my choice that way.
Okay. And
Hmm.
then, did you do room blocks and everything, or?
Yes. Yes.
Great.
So she gave me the
Um,
option to do that, and I was like, okay, we're doing room blocks just to make it easier. Like, no headaches.
uh, and then, so I guess the planner that you used was on the resort.
Yeah. So then after I chose a date, um, I was going to do September, but then Sarah was like, it's like the end of hurricane season. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do October. And I came up with the 23rd because that's my daughter was born on the 23rd.
Oh.
And also it was on a Friday. And the reason I chose a Friday, no, I chose the 23rd, which was on a Friday, but that happened to be, I, I happened to get a promotion because it was on a Friday. So I kind of like worked in my favor.
Oh, right. Yes, because that's a better day because people tend to
Yeah.
choose like a Saturday or something. So,
Right. Hmm.
right. So, and had you booked that? I'm assuming you booked that pre-COVID, like you had already booked the
Oh,
hotel.
yes, 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 yes. I booked that like the summer before. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. And did you do like a wedding website?
So I had, at first I wasn't going to, but then I was like, okay, I did the knot, nothing fancy. Kind of had like, my accommodations page, though, was very thorough because my goal was not to, I didn't want that task. Um, and so I needed that task off of me. So I made sure, Sarah, what is the room? How many rooms did I block? Like how many one bedrooms? How many two bedrooms? How many penthouses? And you know what I mean? I needed all of that, and your information, flight details, all that goes to you. So
Right.
it had accommodations, wedding location, and our little story at the end of it.
Oh, and your story.
Our story.
What's your story?
Our story. It's three
I
times the
love your
charm.
story.
We met when I was a freshman at Clark Atlanta. Well, I attended Clark Atlanta University, and he attended Morris Brown College. And so
Okay.
I don't remember where we met. I just know that we met my freshman year, and I kind of brushed him off, and didn't really think much about it. Kind of was like, oh, I'm a freshman. don't want to talk to you right now. And then I think I met him a second time after Clark Atlanta. I went to DC, Howard University Graduate School,
Oh,
and I
wow.
came back in 2005, and I ran into him at the mall here again for the second time. And we exchanged numbers again. I think we had conversations maybe 3 or 4 times. And as he told our marriage counselor, I kind of brushed him off again. I guess I wasn't interested. And then the third time, which was funny, I met him at a birthday party, a mutual friend's birthday party. And I saw him and told my line sister, I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go talk to him. And he told me in marriage counseling and premarital counseling that he was actually there to talk to somebody else. And I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I came in and it's kind of like when I started talking to the girl, just walked away, I guess. And I got it, and that was it, and that was the rest was history for that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Third time's a charm. And you guys
hmm
have 2 children?
Yeah, he has a daughter who's starting from a previous relationship, and then we have a daughter together who's 9.
Oh, 2
hmm
girls. That's beautiful. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I had to share that. The third time's a charm. I love hearing that. Like it's clearly meant to be. Like, okay, you just gonna keep meeting. You just gonna keep.
Right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this is it. I've already ran into him 2 times. Like, Lord, this must be my husband. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
it's rough out here. So this must be it.
Clearly. So once you guys decided on destination, did you guys get any pushback from family, or was everybody just on board, or how did
And
that
we were
go?
like, this is our choice, and this is with it. Either coming or not.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, like it was. I was more concerned about other people. He was like, listen, as long as we show up, that's kind of like all that matters.
Yeah,
Um,
and y'all had a great turnout. Do you remember about how many people you invited?
I invited 50.
Oh, okay.
I
So yeah,
It was exactly 50. I invited exactly 50. And just a few wasn't able to go. And I think it was more so because of COVID. Like if they were to go, they would have to quarantine with their job. And
right.
so for additional 14 days, and they just couldn't do that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you invited 50. Does that include like plus ones for people, or was it like 50 invitate? Like, did it
So the
just
50
shake out to
included
be
the
that?
plus ones. Yep. If the 50 included the plus ones.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
hmm
Okay. Yeah. So y'all basically would have had a full, and you still had pretty much everybody. Like
Yeah, I
there
still had
wasn't
a good
much.
turnout, which was, I think it was perfect. Um, the way it turned out, especially when I saw how they arranged the tables at the reception, I thought it was perfect.
Oh yeah, I gotta see those.
hmm
Um, so I mean, it would be crazy if we didn't talk about this. So clearly, you had everybody who did their RSVPs. They said yes. You're on your way planning. You're exactly excited. It's the year of your wedding, and then COVID hits.
So COVID hits, and so I remember my last day of work, it was March 13th. And at that time, I really wasn't thinking about like wedding guests
That
because I was
far.
like, this is only another like 2 weeks, it's gonna be gone. Um, but then after I started getting like maybe 1 or 2 cancellations, I started to think about, and everything that the hype about it and the flying and everything being closed. And then what really scared me the most is because I was seeing brides just their weddings being canceled and having to reschedule and, people from different countries not able to do their wedding, the March, April, May weddings, and they're pushing them all to
Mm-hmm.
fall. So I'm thinking like, oh my God, what's going to happen when fall comes? Is that going to be me having to reschedule? So I kind of removed myself from the Facebook group at that time because it was just a lot. It was just a lot to internalize. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on continuing planning. I'm going to stay positive. My wedding's going to happen, even if it's just him and I. So that's kind of what was my outlook on it. And, I would kind of go into the group sometime and kind of freeze it and kind of ask questions. But I mean, it was so sad because people had like did all this planning and then all their guests canceled and some people weren't getting their money back from travel. It just was a mess.
Yeah, yeah, it was a hot mess, and I love that you did at
So
least take that moment. You took that
I
moment to
needed to
like,
decompress. I needed to be like,
right.
okay, and the resort at that time, they had been real quiet. And I was like, hi, what's going on? Like, hey, it's me again. Is everything open? And then finally started to respond like summer, like early May, June. Like, hey, want to update on planning? I'm like, okay, maybe they are going to continue weddings or whatever. They're open back up. They weren't fully open, like 100% capacity, of course, but they were like 20 and then 30, and then it got up to like 50, 60.
Okay. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
well, that's good. So you held on. Like you really were like, okay, I'm gonna stay positive and I'm gonna pull back from the negativity. I can't do that right now.
Right.
And then you regrouped. I love that you did that. Like I feel like that was a big thing. Like I remember starting my like the Desti lovers group, and as soon as I started that community, COVID hit, and it was the panic. And I'm in the groups too, and you see all of the things.
Oh, it was
And
bad.
your
It was bad.
wedding,
Yeah.
yeah, and your wedding was further out, so you said, "Hold on, let me just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wait it out," and you
Mm-hmm.
did.
Yeah, and even with like things that I was ordering, I had to take that in consideration, like, like little things I was ordering for like the reception, details, lights, and all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. I knew that, that was going to take longer. So I was like, let me just start prioritize. Let me really get on it. So I hit my planning really, really hard during COVID.
Mm.
I was kind of taking my time and kind of bracing myself. But when COVID hit, I was like, I'm on it, like passports, blah, 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 all these great things. And that was an issue too with my daughter's passport. Um, it just was sitting there.
Yeah, because they had that whole delay too. I remember
Yeah, they were
that. That was a big
closed.
thing. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm really into this and hearing all of this. How did you handle guests? Like when guests were panicking, how did you have that?
So
Were they
what I
coming to you
did
guys?
was I started a Facebook group after I did the website, and the Facebook group was only for confirmed guests. So this is how I was immediately giving them information. So anytime I got information from the resort, I shot it to them. But most of
Mm-hmm.
my information, truthfully, I got from Sarah. And I kind of took her word because I know that she was in the nitty gritty of things and she knows her stuff. She knew the resort, she knew people there. So anytime I had a question and I got a response from her, I would shoot it to the group. And so that kind of calmed them down. And then as we got closer to the days when she visited the resort and gave me the feedback, I was able to kind of provide them, hey, this is what they're doing, this is what's happening. These are the numbers are low. People felt safer there versus being here. That really helped them a lot, a lot. They were like, okay, I can breathe now. Like, yeah, I'm traveling. I'm out of here. I'm getting out of the US. I need a break. So that helped them a whole lot.
Good. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So the magic of the travel agent, as I'm always
She
preaching
is
it here, helping
amazing.
it.
I'm not traveling with anybody else. She is amazing.
Yeah, she
So
is.
thank you for that.
Of course. Yes, and thank you, Sarah. We may make this episode sponsored by Time for Travel.
Yay.
We didn't even know, but hey, who'd have thunk it? No,
Right.
but I love that, and I like that. I've been hearing more and more about the creating the Facebook group in addition, and I do like that. I initially was kind of like, that's more work for you, but in this case, like I feel like it makes more sense, and it's an easier way to communicate with your guests, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, definitely
oh
it was.
yeah. Had you already? I guess how did you find your photographer?
Girl, the Facebook group, let me tell you, if if you are planning a destination group, Erica, she said it subtly. She didn't even harp on it in her interview with you, but I heard it. And I said, what is that? And so she's like, yeah, remember, I think she said something like, yeah, these are Facebook groups for like bride resorts. I'm like, what? So I initially subscribed to like Jamaica bride groups. And then I
Mm-hmm.
did Cancun. And then I found the Fives. And that saved
Was it?
my life because it's something where you can kind of get general information, but it's better when you know you're in a group where these brides have already done it at the resort you're planning to go to. So they
Yeah.
can give you the ins, they can give you the outs. Because, the wedding department will sell you their life there and try to make you spend almost $30,000 for like a plate.
The
Um,
package, right?
yeah, you know what I mean? But it's like when you have people in the group like, nope, don't do this, do this. And then I started see people like post their photography or ask suggestions. And every time they would put their suggestions or give the photographers in Cancun, I would go to their web pages and kind of look out their work. And so Taro kept coming up. His name kept coming up. And so I kept looking at his work. And then one bride, she got married like the March before, and she had just gotten I think she got her pictures came back from him, and she posted them. And I was like, oh, these are beautiful. And that's how I found him. That's how I found him.
You did some really great night shots. I love the night shots. And who was the photographer?
His name is Sotero Cancino Photography. His wife, him and his wife, they have a dual business. So she does like the decor and flowers, and he does the pictures. So you can get a double team.
Did you do that? Did they do your flowers as well?
Well, that was an issue because the resort was kind of playing on us. And so thank goodness for the bride group, because the resort was telling like brides one thing, and then we like different brides different things. And so it was like, yeah, some brides got the team for one vendor fee, and then sometimes they were trying to charge you 2 vendor fees for both. It was like they weren't consistent. They were trying to charge. So when I asked about it, they were going to say, well, it's going to be $1,600, for 2 of them. And one girl got both of them for $800. So I just ended up using somebody else because they were banning them at one point from the resort, the wife as a vendor. So then they finally brought her back, and I was like, I can't do the back and forth. So I found somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I remember if there's anything I remember from Erica's interview is her talking about that outside vendor fee being large. It's a pretty big fee. So, so who were outside versus the preferred ones that they allow? How did you decide on that?
Well, the preferred ones were the ones in-house. Everybody outside.
Like who were yours? Right. Like who
mine.
Yeah.
So I did photography, DJ, and florists. Those were, so I had 3 outside vendors. Makeup wasn't a vendor. I didn't have to pay a fee for her. I ended up going to her studio.
Oh, great. Okay. And was it was like that $800 fee per person? So you basically just tacked that on top of whatever their fee was anyway?
Exactly. Yeah. But honestly, it still came out a little like the florist, because she did an amazing job with everything that I had gotten. It still came out cheaper than what the resort's price was going to be. So I definitely don't like that at all. Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of why I stuck to that, because I was comparing the prices, like what I wanted for the gazebo and the kind of details, my monogram blocks, all of those things. When I compare the individual prices, the chairs, all of that was different prices.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm dropping all the pictures in this because you have. I love those. So wow. So that makes sense, and that's one of those things that I think is a great tip. That'll be a huge nugget that I want to make sure that the people listening and watching or definitely get, is that just because the fees are higher doesn't mean that you shouldn't really still explore the other ones, because they kind of are there to kind of scare you out of exploring, but still explore. Because even it could just be cheaper, and sometimes some vendors will even allow you to they'll kind of soften the blow in that space just to make sure they'll work with you because they want the business. So I love that you did that.
Because even with the DJ, I got the love letters and the dance floor, and it was so much cheaper than using the resort DJ.
And who did you use for them? Was it Disco Mobile? I sure hope so, as I just guessed it. So yes, I feel like I read that. You're like, no, actually, it wasn't them. No, I
it was
read
actually.
That,
he was amazing. He was good. Very professional.
Good. Yeah. Okay. I love that. Yeah, I love it all. I get so excited when I get to interview you guys because it's just, you guys have, everybody gives something different, and it's one of those things where it really doesn't matter where you're getting married. It's helpful like for if someone's getting married at the Fives, but it's also just helpful across the board no matter where you're getting married,
because when I think about it, like most resorts, they're going to have a vendor fee, or they're going to, you're going to have a wedding department. You're going to have a planner there. You're going to, you're going to need the DJ. You're going to need a florist. So it's the same things that you're going to need across the board.
Yeah, definitely. And how did you choose your makeup artist? Did you just Google and figure that out too?
Yeah, that was another recommendation that came through the group too. And being a black woman, I was definitely had to like really, really like look at the work because most of the brides in there were Caucasian women. So it was like I got to make sure whoever I
Matching.
choose has a definitely done a black girl because our skin tones are different.
Right.
So one of the black girls in the group, she did post that this makeup artist did her face and she loved it. I started following them on Instagram, and I just kind of chose them. Now the hardest thing was hair because I have short hair, and I will say it's a little harder for short hair brides. I think that was the hardest part of my planning. I must say.
Okay. Elaborate. Give us the deets on that.
Because I'm such a stickler when it comes to short hair, and I have an amazing stylist here in Atlanta, Georgia, Naja Aziz. I like the River Salon, and she is amazing. She's been doing my hair for years. But outside of that, I knew what I wanted. I was like, well, I don't want to bring her and her team just for me because it was going to be me because most of the other girls were going to have either sew-ins or whatever. Um, but just trying to find a hairstylist there because everybody had long hair or,
Right.
you know what I mean? I saw no one as a Cancun bride with short hair that got their hair done in Cancun. And even though the makeup artists, they're also hairstylists too, I still didn't see that.
Yeah.
Everybody came with either weaving their hair or their hair was already long. So
Yeah.
I had to make like, do I get a sew in? And I'm like, my stylist was like, no, that is not you. Be you. And I'm like, I know I wear short hair. Do I get a wig? She's like, no. So it took me. I think I made that decision in the summer. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna get my hair done before I go, and I'm going with this style, and it's gonna work. It's just gonna work. It's gonna have to work,
Yeah.
and
So
that's what I
so
did.
you ended up just kind of zhuzhing it up a little bit yourself the day of, or
So I got my hair done that Tuesday, and I left. No, I got my hair done that Monday, and I left that Tuesday, and my wedding was Friday.
okay. So you just kind of stayed away
So
from.
I kind of, I had the soft wave, and she had kind of done it where it wasn't soft, but it was hard. So by the time Friday came, it loosened up a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and so all I did was kind of like fix up the sides, the details of the sides, and the day of the wedding, kind of they were near fixing the back of my hair and kind of flattening it down here and spraying all this good goo, whatever stuff to make it hard so the waves wouldn't move. And once I put the headband on, it was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It was
looked
perfect.
great. So that's a really good point. Like when I think about it, you're my first COVID bride for sure, and you're definitely my first short hair like, and it didn't even register. Like I saw you and I see the pictures, and it didn't even register as a difference. But absolutely, like it's not just.
It's
I always talk
hard. I
about.
mean, it's
Yeah,
unless you're
that's a
bringing your
thing.
stylist with you, that's different. But I knew what I wanted with my hair, and I knew that I didn't want it to be like over the top. I just wanted something simple. Um, and I was like, well, it's gonna be hot. If I go like this,
Right.
it's gonna sweat out, but it has to be something that, it's moldable. Because I can mold my hair. I couldn't do the details of the way that she did, but I just knew that it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, she worked it out and she was amazing. So kudos to her.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love that. Okay. Yeah, that makes complete sense now. Now you got me thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, huh? Like
So if you're
you
a
don't
black
really.
short hair bride, start thinking about that day one. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
real. That's
yeah.
real. Um, did you? So you got the makeup, you got the hair. As far as what was your budget? We didn't even talk. We started to play with it, but what? Yeah, what was your budget? Do you remember?
So initially my budget was like 15. It was 15. I was like, I kept saying, like, I'm not gonna go for 15,000. I'm gonna go for 15,000. So what I did, I ended up like getting the base package or something. Everybody kept saying, get the base package and build on it. Just build on the base package. But I knew my location was a premium location. which was like the more expensive location, and I knew that my reception was going to be at that same location. So I knew that was going to be a higher cost right off the top. Um, but with the promotions, that helped a lot. So I would say we stayed, I think I probably went over a little bit, but it worked out very well.
Yeah. Okay. So you were able to pretty much stick at 15,
Yeah.
which is really good.
hmm
Yeah, definitely. And with the number of guests that you had,
hmm
did you guys save for it beforehand, or like how did you guys make that
Yeah, so
happen?
we saved beforehand, and then like it lucked out because we had pushed it out so far that when we got like taxes or something, we kind of just put that to the side, like we're not going to touch that, and then we're not going to touch that, and then COVID hit, we got a stimulus, that was an added bonus. It was like,
Oh,
great, we have more money. So it definitely worked in our favor, with all the timing, and that's why I really wanted. I'm glad I did push it out and didn't rush to do it. I wanted to give myself time, and I wanted to have the guests to have time to also pay for those.
right. Yeah, that's a huge perk to those longer engagements. We were the same way. We saved as we went, and then any addition, like you said, any bonuses, you kind of throw those in there at that point. But that
hmm
also, like you said, gives your guests the ability to make
hmm
those payments as well. So did you
hmm
basically give your guests like a year
Yeah, a
notice
year
or?
and some months, a year and some months. So, and everybody was, no one complained about the prices. The prices were actually, um, were very reasonable for the guests. And that too was my big thing too. I didn't want to choose a place that would break my guest pocket. I wanted them to be able to come, be comfortable, but not like be spending all this money, because I knew what it took, what it takes to kind of travel. So, um, I had other options in resorts, and I definitely was looking at prices for the rooms. And I was like, this is important to me. I want the guests to not be breaking pockets to come. So that was okay.
That's good. Yeah. And then if they're all inclusive, then that's the perk too. Like once they get there, they're set. Like,
I mean, you did have those one or two guests. Like, what if I stay up the resort? And I'm like, listen, it's your choice. However, you're gonna have to pay. I think you have to pay $100 a day if you want to come on the resort.
right.
Um, so they ended up staying on the resort.
Yeah. It's the same way for us.
I'm
Like,
like,
yeah, you could try
okay,
it.
right.
Yeah. Did you have wedding events? I know the wedding was Friday.
I didn't. I kept seeing people do that, but I didn't want to take their time.
Yeah.
I thought of it as their vacation as well, and so my event was, for them to participate with me. I had the welcome dinner, um, that Thursday night. And initially, I was going to have like an all white gathering at like the Zai bar, which they have a bar there, but um, due to COVID, it was closed.
Yeah.
So we had no entertainment, we had no nightlife, and I was pretty sad about that part of it. So I had to like, okay, what am I going to do now? But it all worked out. But no, I didn't plan anything. The only thing I had like planned was like Saturday, everybody go to the pool, like a little pool party, but no like boat rides or anything off the resort. People did go off the resort that Saturday and do
Hmm.
their own thing, like zip lining or whatever. So I wanted to kind of do what they wanted to do.
Okay. And they were able to do that kind of stuff even with COVID. They were able to.
Oh yeah, yep.
Good. That's good. And when you said you did a welcome dinner, was that for everybody or?
Yeah, so initially it was just going to be for the bridal party.
Mhm.
But when the numbers started going down, I was able to accommodate all my guests.
Cool. And was it on the resort?
Yep, it's at one of the restaurants. Just like they had it all set up for us. They had it, you chose your option for your meals and did our speak. I actually ended up doing my speeches that night versus the reception, to kind of save time and be on the dance floor more versus doing it at the reception. So that's when I did my speeches.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
like
we
most
did
of
the
them.
same thing. Yeah, we did
hmm
the same thing. We had speeches the night before the wedding. It was like, if you want to speak, speak now. 'Cause you ain't
Forever
speaking
hold
on the
your
wedding.
peace, because I don't. This is your only option.
I love that. And did you do any did you bring any decor with you or did
Oh
you?
my gosh. Girl, did I send you the pictures? I have to send you the pictures.
You got to send me the
So
pictures.
I have to send you the pictures. So yeah, girl, a group was like, "Where did you pack your stuff?" I sent her a picture. She was like, "Oh my God!" So
Hold on. Okay, you know it has to be something good for me to be interrupting this beautiful, wonderful, awesome, amazing interview with Tashima, and it is. I have to thank our sponsor, Time for Travel. Now, at this point, you've probably heard Tashima start to rave about a specific agent that's Sarah, who's been handling her travel, or who handled her travel and was working magic, and that is Sarah Klein, who owns Time for Travel. Sarah Klein has been planning destination weddings and honeymoons and just all types of intimate experiences for, actually right now, you guys, it's coming up on 25 years. Are we at 25 yet? We might be. By the time this comes out, we might be at 25 years, you guys. And she has been working all types of magic in the destination wedding industry. And if you haven't already checked it out, I'm going to link to it below. But Time for Travel's Instagram account is something that you must follow. It's always got some new tour or beautiful photos or some tips and advice on it. So you guys just have to check it out. And you guys know I only introduce you and I only partner with companies that I truly believe in, and Time for Travel is absolutely one of them. And I'm so very excited to be partnering with them. They've been an amazing Desti Pro and also Desti partner. And if you are looking for a destination wedding travel agent, make sure that you give Time for Travel a shot. Get that free consultation, go to timefortravel.com, and you can also find their Desti partner page on desti.land/timefortravel. And don't forget to tell them that your best Desti bride friend Omi sent you so that they can take extra special care of you. Okay. Back to Tashima's interview. Enjoy.
that's kind of where we kind of bumped heads at home. But, he let me go with it. So I had 3 trunks full of stuff. 3 trunks. I ended up finding the trunks. One girl said that's how she packed her stuff, and I ended up finding it at Walmart.com or whatever. Ordered 3 of those.
Was it the plastic ones, like those?
Yeah, they're like locker trunks. I think they have them out during back to school time, and it has a little handle you can pull. So 3 of those. They were all full to capacity. I ended up leaving 2 and bringing home 1. Yeah.
Okay, what was in those?
Okay, so I had the lights for the sky deck. I had the lights. I had chargers. I had personalized nameplates. I had napkins, personalized napkins. I had only 1 tablecloth, which was mine for the sweetheart table. I had my guest book. I had everything for the welcome table. I had. What else did I have in there? Oh, I had the centerpiece because I did lanterns.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah,
with the flowers around those, so garlands around those. I had 10 lanterns packed. I had 10 lanterns packed in there. I had the 10 garlands. I had candles. No, I didn't. Yeah, like the little tea lights. And that's about it. And like picture frames with like the signs for the guest table and things like that. But yeah.
Okay.
I ended up leaving a lot of that stuff, though.
Did you leave it with the planner? You basically just left it with them?
The other thing I kind of brought back was like my outdoor lights and like my guest book and things like that. But I and my sweetheart tablecloth. But all those chargers, and because everybody took their nameplates with them, so but the chargers I left with them, like, you guys can have that. So
yeah, what are you gonna do with those? And and I guess that was a good way of being able to offset the cost for other things.
No. I just didn't want to travel back with it. I know. I
mean you bringing the stuff there, like you actually decided.
Oh yeah. Yes. So because I felt like I needed to add my personal touch to it, and the floral centerpieces were overpriced to me. They wanted like $300 per table. And I didn't want all of that. I just wanted it to be kind of simple. Like, I just wanted I knew what I wanted. So that's why I did that. Yeah. And the chargers they were charging, oh my God, it was astronomical for that like plate I found. Like, it's ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm definitely going to dig in when you send me the pictures. I'm going to dig in and add in the show notes where you got this stuff, because you did a really good job with that. So that makes sense. We're going to get that going. Oh, this is good. You've got all the stuff. Did So I guess wait, you had all those extra trunks, so you had to just pay additional, probably like the
Yeah,
airline.
so the I think the night before he weighed all of them on the scale to make sure they were within 50 pounds. I was so nervous. Like, please work. Get to the airport on my three trunks and our luggage. And they're like, it's like 275 for that. I was like,
Looking at it.
but he didn't say anything. So I was like, because he knew. I already kept saying, like, he's like, you need all this stuff. I'm like, I need all of this stuff.
All of it,
yeah, we
yeah.
need all of this stuff. So it was like the additional baggage, including our luggage, though, including our luggage. It all came to like 265 or something like that.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not terrible, and it's one of those things
No,
where
it
we
wasn't that
need it.
bad.
You're like, hey, we got to do it. So
Right. But the only thing with that is that when you meet with the wedding department and you bring decor, i.e., the shears from my gazebo, which I brought to, you do have to pay a setup fee. So,
Okay. And so you let them know ahead of time that you were bringing things.
so when you get there, when you check in, they give you your room, and I guess as a bride, I automatically got upgraded to a penthouse suite.
Ooh. Okay.
So that was nice. And you meet with your wedding department the following day, and then they ask you, do you have any decor that you brought with you? I'm like, oh yeah, I got three trunks. And then they tell you that that's fine, and they want to know itemize what's in there so they can know what to do with it. They go through thoroughly, what song you want to walk down it. Like, everything is laid out, and so when you tell them the details, like, what do you have in there? Well, I have this for the table, and I have this for the centerpieces. And then they say, well, there's a setup fee. And I'm like, okay. And then they set it up. I was worried they wouldn't know how I wanted and where I wanted it. But that was in the back of my head. She kept saying, don't worry, don't worry. And they did an amazing job. So everything was perfect. They did everything the right way. So,
Oh, well, good.
yeah,
I'm glad. Yeah.
they did a great job.
And do you have siblings? You have siblings, right? You have a
Yeah, I have a sister and a brother.
Awesome. And did they both make it?
Yes. Yes, my brother was in the wedding and my sister was in the wedding.
I love it. And what is your husband's name?
Mark.
Mark. I should know that. Mark. Um, is Mark an only child?
No, he has siblings, but his sister was only able to make it. His sister and his mom was able to make it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what was important for Mark with the wedding? Were there any things where he said, "Look, this has to be
You
something"?
know, we had our conversations, and I remember you talking about that. With men, it was kind of like he wanted numbers. I was like, we need to do flowers, and he's like, what are the numbers?
Yeah.
And I kept
Right.
going, but da, 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 da. So to him it was all about numbers. To me, it was all about like the details. He
Yeah.
wasn't really worried about the details. It was more so, what are the numbers?
Yeah.
I need that in writing. And so I had to
Yeah.
get him the numbers in writing. And so that was his big thing.
Is that like him? That's like his
That is
norm?
him. He is very, not a lot to say, get to the point, you're talking too much. I need to know the end result, where we're going. And I'm like, da, 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 we need this, da, 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 da. And so I'm like, I need to order this, or I need to order this. He'd be like, well, how much is it? And that was kind of his thing. He kind of left me to kind of do that part. His task was the music, but he says I'd like to take over. So I gave him the task, and it was taking too long. I took the task back. I was like,
I was not expecting that. Okay, hold on. You gonna take it back?
I'm taking the task back because you're taking too long. And his task was like, okay, I would have to like write him a list. Did you order did the guys have their suit? You need to order your shoes. Make sure the guys have their shoes. And, we need to get the grooms men gifts. We need to get them, their, what gift are you giving to them? So I would give him those things to kind of look up, and he would actually go and find those things. So he did great with that in terms of with
Okay.
him and the guys. Well, when it came to our things like, okay, the music and the playlist and what is going to be your mom, what are you going to walk down on? Your mom, what are you going to dance to? And then, all of these things. He had like 7 options. I'm like, okay, now I got to go back and make the decision again.
Right. Yeah.
So
You're in. Yeah.
we end up, choosing a good our first dance song. So I wanted one thing, and then he wanted one thing, and I kept listening to both, and I went with what he did. So,
What did you guys dance to? What did you guys? Yeah.
Ribbon in the Sky.
Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Oh, what'd you walk down the aisle to? You got me thinking about music now. Do you remember?
Couple of Forevers.
That was our first dance song.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. I love it.
Oh, I have to start
asking
that question.
I fell apart when I heard it in the elevator. When I came off the elevator, I felt like I was going to start hyperventilating. Because they got you sitting you down in this restaurant, and you're just waiting, and they say, okay, you come up now. And then my stepdad was with me first. So we came off the elevator, and at the sky deck, you're at the top, and then you look down, it's like all of these stairs. So I'm hyper focused on not falling. But I'm also like, I need to smile, but I can't focus. And so my stepdad walked me down halfway, and then my dad picked me up and brought me the rest of the way to Mark.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so when I got to my dad, I fell apart. I think I have a picture of like my face. Yeah, like I could not. I think I was like, I'm about to explode. And then I got to him, and I'm like, is my makeup dripping? And he's like, no.
You're like, am I okay? Keep me okay.
Okay, back to the program. Yeah, but it was so hot and humid, and that's the one thing too. It's just like you have to really think about things like that. It's so funny because somebody asked a question yesterday in the bride group about how hot it is at the sky deck and what should they do. I'm like, there's nothing you can do. There's no covering. If your wedding's at 3:00 and the sun is blazing, you are going to melt. Our rehearsal was like 11:00, and we were melting. And I kept saying, if my wedding is like this, I don't know how the guests and I are going to make it.
Yeah.
So on that Friday, we had a slight overcast.
Good. Yeah.
And so that really helped. But two, they call you the day of, like, okay, there's going to be a 30-40% chance of rain. Do you want to change your reception location if it rains, or do you want to stay at that location? You have to make that decision. That was a very hard decision. That was, what do I do? Because if I don't change, they could possibly cancel it if it rains too hard. So I'm getting my makeup done, and Mark called me and told me that that's what they call. And the girls there in Cancun, I was like, they went outside, they checked the weather, they came back. I was like, it may sprinkle, but it's not gonna like rain. And I was like, I'm not changing.
Yeah.
And so it rained.
It did? Like rain?
It rained. So we were sitting down after my first dance at our sweetheart table, and I think they were passing out the appetizers, and it starts to rain. And I start to look to my right, Disco Mobile's right, the Ricardo's next to me, and I'm like, okay, he's covering up his speakers. Okay, I'm not about to panic. And then it starts pouring. And then all I see is guests get up and go to the good covering. And at this point, I'm like, I'm crying. I am crying. Mark pulls out, somebody brought me an umbrella. I am like crying, like this cannot be happening right now at my wedding. And all I could think about was like, they're not going to move me because I said I'm not changing my location. This has to stop. And so finally it stopped. And the wedding planner came over and she was like, it's going to be okay. Don't worry. We're going to be able to continue on. She started drying off all the chargers, the plates, and Ricardo starts playing music again, and they kind of start sprinkling it again, and then it finally stops for the entire night. And I'm like, okay, we can have, like, I like stopped breathing. I was like, Mark kept saying, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna stop raining. I'm like not hearing any of that right now because I'm like, they can cancel this. They could literally cancel my wedding after all of this. So that was really the hardest. That was rough.
Oh my
That is a hard decision
goodness.
to make when you do destination wedding. The chance of it raining and you having to move your location, because I didn't know they give you an option, but in your head as you're planning for that location. So that's your vision. That's what you want. That you're planning for this whole look. And so I'm not planning for the second option because I don't know. I didn't want that. So
Right.
that is rough. You have to make that decision. You do every single day. They're gonna be like, okay, it's gonna rain. And there was a hurricane the week before my wedding, by the way, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I did a video a couple of weeks ago that was like my biggest mistakes. And one of my things was me not really remembering what the plan B was. Now we didn't need it, but I feel like it was a mistake to not do exactly what you were saying, where I didn't even really, I know that it existed, and even like
Yeah,
afterwards, once my husband
but you
saw
block it
it, he's
out.
like, we saw it. He's like, we knew, and the planner knew, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that they did, but I can really say that don't have a handle on that. I can't remember what it would have
Mhm.
been. So I think that it's a good idea, and what you're saying is just reinforcing that, where it's like just really planning and knowing what that is and having that, wrapping your mind around that. But I
Mhm.
love that it did work out for you. Now here's the question: if you had that to do again, would you have done the same thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was adamant about that sky deck from day one. I wanted nothing else. I wanted the outlook of the water. I wanted the whole. I didn't want sand on my toes walking out. I didn't want any of that. I
Yeah.
wanted the sky deck. So yeah, I just told somebody that too. I wouldn't have changed it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Good. I'm glad it worked out too. So I figured that was the answer, but just for anyone else who's wondering, because I know how y'all be thinking when y'all be watching. So I gotta ask the question.
Hmm.
So yeah. So but I love that. So you guys got there Tuesday. You had the dinner on Thursday.
Thursday.
You were just
Hmm.
kind of prepping on Wednesday, I imagine, like just preparations and stuff.
So Wednesday was our meeting with the wedding department that morning, and kind of just chilling out at the pool, or kind of just meeting with guests as they were arriving. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
were arriving on Wednesdays. I was kind of like checking in with everybody and, making sure their rooms were okay and things like that.
Okay. And then Friday's the wedding. And
Hmm.
then how long did you guys stay?
I end up le- I We left that Monday.
Okay.
I didn't want to keep my daughter out of school too long, so we really didn't do a honeymoon. Most of my family left that Sunday. A couple of people were still there that Monday with him and I, but um, we really didn't get a chance to kind of be by ourselves until,
Yeah.
well, we really didn't, except the
Yeah.
night of our wedding. That's basically it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Hmm.
Um, so is there what would you say is the best thing and the worst thing about planning a destination wedding?
Um, the worst thing, I'll start with the worst. The worst thing you can do is just is taking in everybody else's planning, or ideas. You have to do what works for you. Um, you know, make the decision that you want, because it's only one day that you get this opportunity to do this, hopefully. Um, so, there's so many, wear this and don't wear this, and don't do this, do invitation, like do what works for you. If the budget's too high, bring it back down, make it work for you. Um, and the best thing was just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Take your time. Don't overwhelm yourself. again, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So that's one of the things in the beginning, I was just taking my time. I was kind of like, I'm going to do this. And then this weekend, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have, I'm going to do this. Just take your time and have fun with it. I was never really over stressed, like people losing hair or getting like, no, no. One of my friends told me that was one of the advice she gave me is like, have fun with it. You like planning, so this is something you like to do, so have fun with it. And that's kind of what I did.
Good. I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the worst. Best.
Have a good time. We had a ball. I mean, I don't even remember what happened after like the sorority song probably. My big thing was the first person I booked was my DJ. And the reason he was the first person I booked because I knew that whatever happens, that reception is gonna be lit. So I wanted to be able to have a reception where, you come and you have a very good time. It was all elegant and fancy and cute, a great playlist and a great DJ. So
good. Yeah, I love
mm-hmm.
that. And that's important. So yes, so make sure that you're having a good time and that your guests are gonna have a good time. So you did the DJ and then everything else fell in. So you got the big things and then filled in as however you could after, right?
I think it's also important too that you have that travel piece is very key. I think that if I didn't have Sarah, I probably would have been pulling my hair out. Because she was able to deal with the things that I didn't have to deal with, like the multiple questions and I don't want this and I want to cancel, but I want to add it back. All of those things that comes with travel and booking a room and hotel and air flights and I found I found this cheaper. Can you all of those things I didn't want to have to answer those questions to. So it's very important to find a travel agent, not just a travel agent, but who's knowledgeable. She knows her stuff and she knew the resort when the hurricane hit and they said that the sky deck was damaged like 4 days before my wedding. I called her, I think it was late, like, Sarah, I am about to pass out. And she said, don't pass out yet. I said, well, I'm already there. And she said, I'm going to call them in the morning. I'll follow up with you. She knew the general manager. She didn't have to wait I didn't have to wait to get those type of emergency response, answers that I needed immediately. Yeah. She knew who to call, basically. When they weren't trying to give me the promotion, like they were forgetting that I had that promotion, she was like, yeah, here's their email that they said that you get that promotion. Yeah. Yeah. So that's important too. That's very, very important as your travel agent.
Yeah, that's real. That's absolutely real. Yes. So what would you say to a Dusty bride who's brand new and is on the fence about having it, or they're afraid, and that's including COVID or non-COVID related? What would be your advice for them if they're coming to you going, what do I do? Should I?
Well, I mean, it is a pandemic. I say, do your research. If they're planning to do a destination wedding outside of COVID, it's the best thing ever. You get a vacation and a wedding at the same time. And with COVID on top of that, I wouldn't let that deter you, because they do have, precautionary measures in place. I felt safer outside of here going to Mexico. And now the new thing is you have to get tested before coming back. So just make sure you have all the details for your guests. But I wouldn't let that deter you. If that's something you want to do, go for it. If your guests start dwindling down because of COVID, still go. You don't want to regret that you didn't do it because of people not showing up. You know what I mean? If you feel comfortable traveling and your guests are not, and some of the guests are still comfortable traveling, do it.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
My final question to you will be, well, is what I ask everybody, which I have the term bride friend. When you hear bride friend, what does that mean to you?
They are my left, right, my front, and my back. They are covering me. So they keep me protected. So anybody come your way as a bride, they are ready. They are right there. So they're important. They're important. They're definitely important. And you're gonna need those bride friends to lean on to. And they help you turn up. They help you turn up.
Yeah, they do.
So
Yeah, they do. Oh, well, thank you.
you're so welcome. I'm so glad I got an opportunity to speak with you
I know,
after I
me too.
stalked you for so long.
It pays off. No, I do. Like, I appreciate us being able to do this because this was we've been in communication before I even knew I was coming back or how I was coming back. So I'm so glad to have it. And I can't wait to share the pictures. And
I should be getting my pictures soon. So actually, I think he's doing final touches. So I'll send you whatever I get.
Okay, no problem at all. And yeah.